All right, Tape Traders. This is another episode of Tape Traders Guide to 90s Pro Wrestling, and I'm here with the one, the only, Johnny Bandana. Johnny?
Johnny Bandana, checking out this new microphone.
Yeah, we have a brand new microphone. Hopefully it sounds just as good, if not better, than before. We just went to Southern Underground Wrestling, Achy Breaky Heart, at downtown Nashville, Tennessee, at a bar called Basement East. The promotion is run by a friend of ours, Jesse Butler. What'd you think?
Man, I thought it was very exciting. I loved the crowd, the atmosphere that was there. Nick Iggy, got to see it. Man, watching him, the last time I seen him and watching him tonight, that man has come a long, long way.
So I thought the show was fucking phenomenal. It was one of those things. It was just fun. It was a fun wrestling show to go to. It wasn't your average, everyday, fucking show that everyone puts on. So, this is the Tape Traders Guide to 90s Pro Wrestling podcast. That's the name of the podcast. But, the whole idea behind it was a tape trading idea. And so we're talking about current day wrestling that's happening in 2018 right now. And I want to make sure that everyone who listens to this podcast, that you go to Facebook, you go to Twitter, you go to YouTube, you can find their previous events on High Spots Network. The High Spots Network has a gimmick, like a streaming service gimmick that you can buy, and you can find their stuff there. But, support these guys, go out there, learn about these guys, interact with these guys. This is how we make the wrestling world better and bigger. By going out there and talking about these promotions, talking about these wrestlers, sharing these guys with more people. I thought the show was great. So let's go down the card. The opening was what was it? Was it a 4-man scramble?
Yeah, it seemed to be. Yeah, and they had that one little guy. I don't know if he was like 15 years old or what he was, but brother was all over the place, man. And he had me, man. He had me as a fan. I'm like, this guy here is like, he means business. The underdog, and he's doing all the flippy flues out into the crowd and cussing. Little 13-year-old. He shouldn't even have a mouth like that, but he's I like that match a lot. The opener was really strong. I think it was hard for the rest of the matches afterwards kind of to follow that.
Right. Yeah, and it was a good time. Just FYI, if you want to see any of these matches, you can go check out WrestleTopia on Facebook, WrestleTopia on Twitter, and WrestletopiaTV on YouTube, because I have matches from the whole night, different matches throughout the night. That I taped and I threw up there, so you can check out all the different matches that we talk about. And then of course, High Spots Network later on will have the entire event. It was filmed for release, so the whole show will be available if you follow Southern Underground Wrestling on Facebook. But yeah, the dude that was in the first match, it was a 4-man scramble. And it was Cabana Man Dan was in the match, with his flip flops, which is someone who I've met before. He was going to become a part of the whole Best in the Best deal before that all crumbled and failed and blah blah blah. that might be for another day and time. But he was going to help us out with that. Who else was in there? I don't even remember what the kid's name. He actually grabbed my beer. And drank from my beer when he got thrown outside.
Yeah, that was the 15-year-old I'm telling you about.
Yeah, but he was what? He was like 4 foot.
Brother.
4'9", maybe 4'10", and he looked like a kid.
Yeah.
He had a tattoo, and I hope he wasn't a kid because he drank from my beer.
Well,
but he looked like an actual. He was young.
One of them new school millennials. Yeah. The curly hair, and fresh baby face.
It was fast paced. It was a good time. And the great thing about these bar shows, there's a wrestling promotion in there's actually a couple in California. One's called Bar Wrestling. That's just what it's called. And you see like the Jeff Cobbs and the Brian Cages and those talents, those independent name talents that are kind of everywhere. They're well known and stuff like that. And you see them at Bar Wrestling, which is a great promotion. I like Bar Wrestling a lot. I really do. It's a fun show to watch. And then there's also Hood Slam in California, which is fucking phenomenal. Hood Slam looks like one of the funnest shows you could possibly go to. It looks like a good time, but the great thing about bar wrestling, about these bar wrestling shows, is they're not heavy on story. They're a standalone good time. And these guys, I don't want it to sound like there was no story in the night, because there was. You know, there was stories coming from the different events that you know were held before this and whatnot. And Jesse Butler and the guys at Southern Underground, they did a great job in tying all the things together. If you'd been there the last time, if you've been there the time before, you understood some of these characters and why they were working each other. But for the most part, the event, the evening is just a good time. Every match on there is booked to get you loud and to get you to make noise and to pop the crowd. And there's no chairs. It was, you know, everyone's standing, and so everyone's right there up close to the ring, and you can see everything. And you know, and so it's not meant to be this long drawn out match where you're telling all these different psychological aspects of a story within the confines of the ring. And it's not made for that. It's made to pop the crowd. It's made to do high spots, and it's made to do, you know, the strong style. And it was really great. The 4-man scramble, it opened up hot. There was already a lot to expect. And I don't even know what was the next match that we watched. Was it Nick Iggy?
I want to say Iggy, yeah, because then you
had Tyler Matrix.
Yeah, because then you had the rude looking guy next, right?
Yeah. And Nick Iggy, the whole Carnies thing, dude. Iggy and Awful. I mean, I liked them when they were Team IOU.
Yeah.
But the Carnies,
I love them as the Carnies.
The Carnies are so awesome.
That's them.
So it's old school character,
and does in the way that Nick Iggy works his character. How he goes into, he carries it. You know, he just and
I have to give props to the person that was doing the ring announcing, because he did the whole spiel with Iggy, where he, you know, the Stone Cold Austin of this,
like
and
10 minutes, huh?
Yeah, you know, and Iggy played it up the whole time.
Everyone.
And so I definitely got to give the props to the ring announcer for the night, because he did a great job. I mean, his voice was perfect, and you know, there was no hesitation in his words, and it did a great job. But Iggy and Awful, the both of them, and individually and together, you know, separate and together, these characters, the Carnies, are so fantastic. It is legitimate character development wrestling. It is psychology wrestling like it used to be, where these guys are, I don't know if they're living their gimmick. You don't know if they're living their gimmick. Their gimmick seems like who they are, and who they are seems like their gimmick. You know, their characters seem natural. It doesn't seem like guys playing a character. It just seems like guys that are going out there and being themselves, and themselves happen to be these larger than life Carnies. You know, these underhanded, sneaky, funny, these Carnies, you know. And so anyone who doesn't know who the Carnies is, you know, go out and Google that name.
Please check them out.
Look them up on Facebook, Nick Iggy, Carrie Awful. Look them up on YouTube, because it's fucking phenomenal shit. Yeah. So Iggy works a kid named Tyler Matrix, who was a good looking kid. I've heard his name before, I believe. And I may be wrong, but I believe maybe the Chattanooga area, around those parts. I know I have heard Tyler Matrix, that name, before. They had a great match. The Matrix guy was real small. He was very thin, but you know, well built, with the long hair. Looked, you know, somewhat 80s style wrestler. But they had a great match. I think Iggy did fantastic. The crowd was into it the whole time. Good stuff. What was next, Johnny?
Next,
and I don't know if we're going to remember all the matches.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, next was all sawed off, brother. I thought looked a little bit like Bobby Roode there. We'd say his name was Magnum or something like that. What was his name?
That cat that he did a standing moonsault.
Yes,
he did a standing moonsault in the ring. It was what was his name?
I've never seen him before.
That was a fantastic fucking match, though.
It was. It was solid. It was.
So whatever the third match was, I don't remember both of those guys. I don't remember either one of their names. One of the cats. Yeah, one of the cats is out of Chattanooga. He wrestles for Chattanooga Pro. So make sure you check out Chattanooga Pro. I know that Papa Hales He's one of his guys, one of his workers. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But those two guys tore it down. And this match I did record, I believe it's on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Facebook or YouTube. I can't remember which one. So if you guys get a chance, go ahead and check that match out. It's two big, bruising guys. This cat, he must have been, what, 250?
Oh, easy. Sorry,
275
too, man. Yeah. Great.
250, 275, and at one point does a standing moonsault in the middle of the ring on the other cat. And man, it was. I mean, he didn't just do the move; it was perfect. I mean, his drop kick was incredible.
No, I was thinking beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah, just incredible. We had the Pussycat match, which was not my favorite.
Couple things.
Yeah, not the top match of the night, but they went out there and had a good time, and I think everyone had a good time. We had Jussie Butler.
Yes.
Working. What was it? What is his name? Brett Eisen? Is that?
Oh boy, it beats me, man.
I don't want to say his last name the wrong way. I believe his name is Brent Eisen. And they had a dog collar match. And, Jesse is a buddy of mine. I know Jesse not super well. We're not like best friends or anything. But I respect Jesse a lot. Jesse has a podcast called Kick Out at 2. So everyone check out Kick Out at 2 podcast. They do great stuff. It's all independent wrestling. That's all it is. Fantastic podcast. But he runs a podcast. That's how I kind of met him. I met him at some shows when he was out there getting interviews and stuff like that. He used to wrestle for Yukon Jack. Kind of in that group of Josh Crow and Nick Iggy, Kerry Awful, Jeremiah Plunkett,
Mike Jablonski.
Yeah, guys back then, but Jesse he doesn't work, full time. I believe he had one match last year. And this was his match this year. And this whole thing came from the last show. Like I said, so there was storyline, into some of these matches. And there was reason for some of these matches. And it came in from the last show. And Brett, Cold Talk Jesse, who was doing commentary. And, of course, Jesse is the owner-promoter of the company and everything. And I actually have a clip of it up on, I think, on my Instagram. But Jesse gets thrown from the stage because, there's that stage right there.
Yeah.
And there was one of those small carded, the playing card tables. The small square ones.
Yeah.
Where, you just play cards on them. And he smack went through that, and so that was the return match from this. Yeah, Jesse's fucking crazy, man. Man, I've been removed from the ring for 7 years, and I don't want to go through a table on concrete. Fucking Jesse's nuts, man. He's just crazy. Last year he had his return match to the ring, because I don't think he's wrestled for a couple of years before last year, was a hardcore match with a hardcore wrestler from the Georgia area named Tank. And, it's one of those death matches where, Jesse's throwing through glass and thumbtacks and tonight, the match tonight, they're fucking stapling dollar bills to their foreheads and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. They just sat there and beat the shit out of each other for
crowd ate it up
15 minutes or whatever. Yeah,
enjoy it.
And that's the thing, man, is these bar wrestling crowds, they're not those normal wrestling fans. It's the people that normally go to the bar.
Yeah.
It's the people that go to the concerts at this venue, and the hipsters that are downtown.
Exactly.
And it's such a fun, cool environment. I really think Jesse's really onto something in this area.
Absolutely.
I really do. There's a lot of guys.
You said there was more attendance tonight than there was previously.
Tonight was definitely, I didn't count. I didn't count heads, but I would say 250. Maybe it's under. By 50 or whatever, but let's just say 250. If I were to say that this show was 250, last show was probably 150. So they gained 100 fans, and it's been 4 months.
That's good.
It's been 4 months since their last show. So in 4 months, they were able to not only bring back the same number of people that came to their last show, but also gain an extra 100 people to their show, and it was packed. For standing room only already. it was packed.
I mean, I was standing at the door. I mean,
every time we went to go get a beer, you try to get back to your spot, and there's 6 people standing in the one spot that you were standing in. You know, which is another fantastic thing about bar wrestling: beer.
Yes,
beer and shots.
Why not?
You know, while you're watching, while you're watching wrestling, beer and shots. I think that's the way to watch wrestling. That's
let you enjoy yourself a little more.
It does. It does.
Bring out your inner fan.
Yeah. You know, I go to a lot of shows, Johnny. I'm at a lot of different wrestling shows, you know, throughout the weeks, throughout the months. But if I'm not booked, like if I'm not a vendor, if I'm not doing commentary, if we're not booked for production or whatever, I probably am not going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and this is one of those things. Like I'm not a young guy anymore. I'm not a green kid. I'm not trying to get my name out there. I'm not trying desperately to get time in the ring. You know, like that's past for me. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking for a different avenue out of pro wrestling now. And so if I'm not actively booked somewhere, then I'm going to stay home with my wife and my kids. You know, my life is different. I'm an old man. you know, but Southern Underground Pro, not only do I go there and buy a ticket with money out of my back pocket, but I'm active in making sure that other people know about the promotion also, because man, it's just a good fucking time. And when you go to the Northeast, okay, there's always been those promotions. There's always been the ECWs. And I don't mean ECW specifically. I mean, there's always been the Northeast area, the territory. Even though territories died, we all know that if you work in New York, if you work in Philadelphia, if you work in these areas, you have a larger opportunity to be seen. You know, and right now there's this big explosion on the West Coast, the California area, Texas. There's a lot of shit happening in Texas. A lot of stuff going on in Texas. So you have the Jeff Cobbs and you have the Brian Cages, and you know you have these names again in this western part of the country. Okay, no territories. I get it. Territories are dead, but yet we still have territories. There's territories. Then you go to Florida, and again, NXT is based out of there. It's where Impact does their tapings. You've got all these FIP and World Wrestling Network. You know, Francisco Chiazzu and his WWN training school, which if you want to become a pro wrestler, then hit up Francisco. So you have this other area. But I think what Jesse is doing, which is something that, you know, a lot of promoters in this area, they don't, while they're still promoting, and don't get me wrong, no disrespect to any of these guys, while they're still promoting Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and Dutch Mantel and these guys, and there's room for everyone. There's room for legends and names like, and Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, they did build the Tennessee area. They did build it. You know, the Rock and Roll Express, all these guys, there is room and there's reason to have them. But while these promotions are only putting money into these guys, everywhere else in the country, everywhere else in the United States, they're cultivating these independent names, these stars. And that's why independent wrestlers are having the opportunity to make money. And Jesse is bringing in these guys like Kurt Stallion and man, I want to make sure AJ Gray, which I'm sure a lot of people, you know, AIW in Cleveland uses AJ Gray and guys like that. But he's bringing in these guys and creating this promotion here in Nashville that is one of these must-see promotions, if that makes sense. It is just as you have to watch this like you have to watch PWG. You have to watch this like you watch bar wrestling. There's another promotion in Tennessee, in Newport, Tennessee, called NGW. That is another one of those must-watch promotions. They're also on High Spots Network. But they are someone, you know, go follow them on Facebook and on Twitter and watch their stuff on High Spots, because they're doing something. Their crowds are so fucking hot. You know, and Newport, Tennessee, where NGW is based out of, is actually the poorest area in all of Tennessee. The whole state of Tennessee, and trust me, I went up there to sell gimmicks, and it's poor. It is the poorest place in all of Tennessee, but their shows are sold out. They are bringing in guys like Cody Rhodes and Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae and the boys and
names there.
Oh, Crimson and get their man Sean Hoodridge. Fucking over.
I've seen him.
Holy fuck!
I've seen brother all over the card.
Sean Hoodridge is so fucking over there, man. But the thing is, these places are packed. This Newport, Tennessee Armory is fucking packed. And the boys are selling their gimmicks to these fans. And these fans are fucking excited to watch these shows. And so, we need to make sure that we're putting the word out and letting people know about these promotions out there that are working so fucking hard. So hard. And they're producing legitimate and great content for the fans. So while we're spending so much time always watching the Northeast, always watching the West Coast, always watching the Gulf Coast, we're forgetting that hey, Nashville's always been here.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time since 1997. I understand. USWA has been closed for a long time. And Music City Wrestling was great in 1998, but it's been a long time. But there are great, awesome promotions in this area that are producing some incredible stuff, that are putting out shows that are just much must watch. But unfortunately, a lot of people probably don't know about it. Yeah. Like outside of Nashville, I'm sure no one knows about Jesse's show, Southern Underground. Or a small handful of people, but for the most part, I bet the masses, if you will. The large masses of people probably don't know that Jesse Butler is promoting fantastic fucking wrestling that everyone should buy on High Spots.
Absolutely.
But hopefully we'll change that. Hopefully now they'll know. Go buy fantastic fucking wrestling.
I didn't know, for one. Now, I'm a fan myself. I really enjoyed it. It's very exciting.
All right. Let's open up another one.
Yeah, man, that sounded pretty good. I think I'll do the same.
So, what else has been going on this week? So, our best friend, one of our closest, most dearest friends and employers, Jeff Jarrett is now going to become Hall of Fame.
He's strutting himself right into Hall of Fame. Who'd ever thought?
Right. So, what do you think about that? I mean, outside of TNA, for you, Mr. Bandana, if I may call you Mr. Bandana.
Mr. B.
Outside of TNA, what do you know of his run? I mean, are you familiar with?
Well, I was a fucking huge fan of him and Owen Hart. And that's one thing will we ever see Owen in there?
Right. Well, that's.
I mean, I understand that's a touchy subject.
That's
and all that
the
shit,
heart.
It's not going to have it.
Yeah.
It's not, but as a fan, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I'm like, what? I mean, I like.
Do you
Jeff.
think?
I love Jeff.
Do you think it's the right time? I mean, do you think?
I think it's perfect time.
Yeah, I find it to be strange.
I think if you wait any later, it'd be like,
Well, I think it's weird because they're in Louisiana. They're in New Orleans for the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
and so he's got nothing really to do with that area of wrestling.
No.
So like if WrestleMania were to go to Memphis or Nashville, or I could see it because he's going to be over.
Yeah.
Here, but I've seen a lot of hate to Jeff Jarrett being in the Hall of Fame.
I have too.
And I think it's stupid. We all truly do understand what this is, right? We get what pro wrestling is. Because here's the way I look at it. I hear hate about Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame. And when I hear that, I think, how do you not know how motherfucking over the Pretty Young Things were? The PYTs. Yeah. In Memphis. How do you not know what an absolute phenomenal heel Coco Ware was when he wrestled in Memphis? Yeah. I mean, white hot heat. Legitimate white hot heat. I hear hate about Nikolai Volkov in the Hall of Fame. Nikolai Volkov wasn't always that goofy, rock and wrestling era tag team partner of the Iron Sheik. That wasn't what he always was.
Yeah.
There was a time when Nikolai Volkov was fucking feared in the Northeast. He was a big, giant Ukrainian guy. who used to be 25 years old. People don't understand that there was a previous time period to a lot of these wrestlers. And when we stop and think about it, anyone that's given their body and their livelihood to professional wrestling, to the industry, for 15, 20, 30, 40 years of their life, they deserve to be in a Hall of Fame. Yes. They deserve someone... Maybe not, the Baseball Hall of Fame, people go in because of their statistics, how good of a player they were. Yeah. The Football Hall of Fame, all these Hall of Fames, there's tangible, there's legitimate information.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling's a work. So anyone that's given their body and doing it at a high level and main eventing and selling tickets and selling merchandise and doing all these things for really, honestly, I mean, you shouldn't go in the Hall of Fame if you've been wrestling for a year, but if you're given any period of your life to the industry, you deserve to be remembered.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff gave his life.
He did.
His dad, his grandma was a promoter. I mean,
his whole life.
Yeah.
And when WCW went out of business, you can say that he started TNA because he knew he couldn't get hired, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Huh.
He hired other people.
Yeah.
He gave other people livelihoods.
Yeah, sure,
he gave them money. He gave opportunity. This idea that he's not deserving is so utterly ridiculous because, honestly, his stuff in USWA for his in Memphis was great. Mm-hmm. He was a fantastic wrestler. He was good at what he did. I loved his shit in the WWE when he first came in with the Ain't I Great and double J, JE, double F. I liked his shit.
I liked him in Perfect with the rap song. Remember that?
I liked his shit with when he wrestled Razor Ramon. And his shit when he wrestled Shawn Michaels. And when he was a tag team partner with Owen Hart. There's a lot of great stuff that he did. A lot of good stuff. I think he gets kind of a bad rap because his world championship title run in WCW, his time period for that was at the end of WCW. So I think people remember that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that. It wasn't.
It was like being more of a paper.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time period. A lot of things weren't going well. And then, when he goes to TNA, I'll be really honest. Like, I was in the crowd for the. I was in the crowd for the Raven.
Hair shaving, scalping.
Not the scalping, but the world title match.
Oh, okay.
Where Jeff Jarrett and Raven. At the fairgrounds where, you would...
The NWA?
Yeah, when you assumed that Raven was going to take the title from Jarrett, and he won, and Jarrett won. And remember, I was sitting in the heel section. Remember the heel section?
I remember the heel section.
And when Jarrett first came out to the ring, we all opened up a newspaper and turned our back to him. And then when he won, we all threw our fucking papers up. Because honestly, that whole building, Jarrett was the babyface. And Raven was the heel. But the whole building was ready for Raven to be the world champion.
Yeah.
They were ready for that.
Night, yes.
That night they were ready for that, and they didn't want Jarrett to win, and he did. And I'll never forget just like hearing just the animosity, for Jarrett. Do it for what they assume, and we don't know this. None of us are the fucking bookers. None of us were in the production meetings. No. None of us knows what the fuck they were talking about or why or anything. We just all assumed whatever, And I think Jarrett, I know I have made money off of Jeff Jarrett, personally. I've been afforded stipends, because of Jarrett. So I don't have a problem with him getting in the Hall of Fame. I think it's deserving.
I think it is too.
His entire life is professional wrestling. That's his whole life. Yeah. And if you want to go by who's the greatest or who deserves to be in before Jarrett, or you know what? Everyone deserves to be in. Everyone does. Pro wrestling is subjective. Because one person loves fucking Antonio Inoki and another person loves Hulk Hogan, neither one of them's wrong.
Nice.
Neither one of them's wrong.
Nice.
They're both right.
Yep.
And so if they're putting their fucking bodies on the line and they're giving themselves to the industry, they deserve to go in. And Jeff Jarrett deserves to go in.
Absolutely.
His entire life is professional wrestling.
Brother's bump cars got enough punches, holes in it.
And, he just got out of rehab and he's feeling good. And, life is good.
And you got to love, man. Come out like that.
What do you think about Ivory going in this year?
Oh, well deserved. You kidding me? Yeah. One of my favorite female wrestlers growing up.
Ivory?
Oh, yeah.
Right to Censor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, I liked her.
She always seemed like a tough chick. She always seemed like she when you saw did you see the video package they did on Raw?
I did.
Where they basically showed mostly her right to censor stuff. But she came up during the time when it was divas and bra and panty matches, and she always seemed legit. Like, this is a tough.
Now she merged over from Glow, right? Originally, was that the same chick?
Well, there was a time period. She was in Glow. Yes.
Okay, that's the same.
Yes.
One.
But there was, she was, I don't know if she was independent.
That.
Yeah. It was many years before she went to WWE. But she was always fit. She was always muscular. She always looked legit. She worked legit. She knew how to promo. Yeah. She never had a problem. So, again, another person I've seen people like, well, Ivory, does she really deserve it? Who else? Yeah, really. Fucking, yes, she deserves it. Yeah. She's a 20-year veteran of wrestling. She deserves it, The Dudley Boys. Which I don't think there's any argument.
How can you argue?
On the Dudleys? Who else? And Goldberg.
How many titles have they won?
I've got. They at one time. I think their TNA promo photo where they had their WCW titles, their WCW tag titles, WWF tag titles, TNA tag titles. Was it the All Japan Triple Crown tag titles? They had I have a promo picture somewhere that they have 8 titles on their bodies, and their ECW tag team titles. So Bubba Ray retired this year. I think Devon retired 2 years ago. So it's also there. I think that's good. I think that's a good one. A good name to put on the Hall of Fame for the year. And then Goldberg. What do you think about Goldberg?
Hey, like Goldberg. Grew up, Goldberg being that guy. I was like, oh, here's new age Hogan, right?
Uh-huh.
Guy pro football player, not the best wrestler, but definitely somebody that everybody's getting behind, and powerhouse. With the spear and jackhammer and see ya. That's all it was to it.
Yeah.
Then him coming back recently, and doing that little run, and has a son now. He got the whole story behind it.
Right.
I think is he as deserving as Jeff Jarrett? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what, I'm a bigger fan of Goldberg for him returning to the WWE this last year. I'm a bigger fan of his for doing that than I was beforehand. I'm not a big fan of... He gained so much notoriety and he afforded himself a very nice lifestyle because of professional wrestling. And so when he had his problems with the WWE back in 2004 or whatever, for him just to leave pro wrestling, it bothers me. I know it's stupid, and this is a stupid thing. I shouldn't give a flying fuck if he is a wrestling or if he's not wrestling or anything else like that. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But it does. It kind of bothers me because I feel like he's been afforded these things because of professional wrestling, and because he's not happy working for Vince, he just stops working altogether. And I don't think that that's the proper way to give back to what gave you. What's
your big ass?
Yes. Now I understand that he doesn't want to work for Vince, but I've always thought this, and I think this when The Rock was making movies before he went back to the WWE. I've always thought, like, if you live in Georgia, if you live in Atlanta, why can't you go help? There's a promotion down the street. I guarantee it. There's always a promotion running on Friday or Saturday night. Everywhere you go. It doesn't matter where you live or what you do. And within an hour driving distance on a Friday or Saturday night, you can find a wrestling promotion running a show. You have every opportunity to go and stop by one of these promotions free of fucking charge and stick your head through the fucking door. And what you'll do for that promotion where everyone will talk about, oh shit, Bill Goldberg was there last week, or this person was there, or whatever. Man, just doing something like that gives back so much. So I always had a problem with him being away from the business and the way that he would interviews talking about how his problems with the business and stuff. But when he came back this last time, like it's almost like he fully understood the deal. He fully understood he did. It's like he got it and he appreciated it, this time around. So with him doing that, man, I think that he redeemed himself in my eyes, I guess, because I've never been a big Bill Goldberg fan as far as his work.
I never was.
It's never really been my thing. But he's at the age now where I don't see him ever. Maybe another match, maybe one, maybe two.
I was surprised he got through the last ones he did, but it was good to see though. Where he was.
It was good that he did it.
It was good that he did it. Right.
He popped the towns.
He got some closure now.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah. He popped their TV ratings. He popped the towns. Everyone made a couple more bucks. He proved that he was a legitimate draw.
Yeah.
Him coming back from being gone for so long, he was a legitimate draw. Yeah. So
and being away, that's your worst enemy from the ring. That's just,
yeah.
For him to come back, just for him to come back and do what he did, it was good, man. I enjoyed it. But I didn't really enjoy him much back in the day.
He was never one of my guys. But I'm glad you said something about that, Johnny, because now we're going to start a brand new segment that's going to debut tonight and only tonight, and it'll probably never be talked about again, where we can't really talk about what we're talking about. So you just recently got back in the ring, didn't you? Last week?
Oh, yeah.
You just got back in the ring. We can't talk about...
Yeah, I can't talk
about
what. I can't tell you where or what.
Can't talk about where.
What's up with that with the rest of it?
But you worked. How did it feel?
It felt great. It felt like I probably should stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
But, it felt great and definitely put my depression way back on the back burner. I was like, fuck, man, I'm where I belong, and I'm loving this, even though I'm bumping, feeding, and coughing my lungs out, my lower intestines. Like I say, I gotta quit the cigarettes.
Yeah.
But it felt great. But can't say anything. Wrestling business. You can't talk about it.
The most.
Let's honor that kayfabe.
That's right. We can't talk about where. I actually got hit up that day, or actually it was the night before I messaged you to see if I could do it. To see if I could go down and be there. Unfortunately, my wife had to work that night, and then I had to go pick my son up from a deal at school, and so I wouldn't be able to do it. So I said, "Hey, have you got a hold of Johnny?" And he was like, "I don't know. Would Johnny want to do it?" And I said, "Well, shit. Are you paying?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let me hit Johnny up right now." So that's when I sent you that message that next day while I was at work, and you went and did it, and it was exciting and everything, but literally, we cannot say anything about this.
We cannot, and I thank you for allowing me that opportunity to go do that, because I really could.
And you got another date.
I do.
Tomorrow.
It might be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Of course, I can't confirm that.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't,
let's not talk about it.
Can't talk about it. But
this is the most secret wrestling promotion I've ever seen in my life.
It is.
Where there will be an upcoming...
Something big.
Something big will be coming up, but for the time being, nothing can be discussed.
What if Iron Sheik runs this thing?
Man!
Somehow, behind the scenes.
Yeah. I think he'd be teaching everyone promo.
I think he's gonna make everybody humble and break backs and fuck asses. I don't know. But it's that secretive. That's how secretive this is.
So there is the secret wrestling promotion that we can't talk about. Yes. And what else we got going on next Saturday? We are going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, for Ox Harley's MSWA. WrestleTopia presents MSWA Extreme, where all matches all night long will have a different extreme stipulation. We will be there to produce the event for a future iPay-per-view on Fight TV. So if you're in the Knoxville area, come out to the show and be there live. And if you're not in the Knoxville area, you better buy the motherfucking pay-per-view.
Buy the pay-per-view.
So this is a whole new venture for us. Production.
And I'm looking so forward to it because, you can only put up so many damn rings for you. Like, I wanna run the camera.
Yeah.
I wanna do a little something else here, guys. I'll still put the damn ring up. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Well, no, we don't want to put the ring.
Okay, I was just throwing it.
Yeah.
So call Babu. Babu.
Yeah. Hey man, we boys. Hey man, we boys. All right. Hey man. So we start our production out. This WrestletopiaTV TV Productions will take place this Saturday, March the 3rd, in Rockwood, Tennessee, at the Rockwood Armory. Ox Harley, who 90s tape traders should know the name Ox Harley. IWA Mid-South and hardcore wrestling. Ox is definitely I don't want to say a hardcore icon, but he is one of the forefathers of legitimate hardcore wrestling, So Ox is putting on this fantastic show. Tommy Coffey will be on the card. Silas Young will be on the card.
Silas Young?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's fucking fantastic.
Yes, he is.
He's of the Mason-Dixon tag team. He's fantastic.
God, is
Big Bad John, our friend Buzz.
Oh yeah, Buzz.
Yeah, he'll be there. Him and Tommy are wrestling Silas and Ox.
Really?
And what I think it's a fans bring the weapons match.
I've been in.
Yeah, but
what are you bringing?
We need to go shopping, don't we? We need to go shopping and maybe let's bring a blender.
I think a blender is a good idea.
Yeah. Or a cheese grater. Let's be that guy that brings the cheese grater. I'm sure someone else has already brought that though. I'm sure someone else is going to bring that. So we got that March 3rd, and then April we got another. We can't discuss it, or can we? I guess we can. I don't know. Can we just? I don't know. It's always one of those things. Like, can you? Can you not? Can you? Are you supposed to talk about it?
Yeah.
We'll in April.
It's like we're biting our toes off.
Right. Well, in April we're going to Orlando for 10 days, and we're gonna do that. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. And then May 11th. There is the Strawberry Fest. Is it Strawberry Slam?
It is the Strawberry Slam.
The Strawberry Slam.
Festival Slam. It's going to be a slam at the festival.
Pro Wrestling Entertainment.
Definitely come out.
Jerry the King Lawler, Dangerous Doug Gilbert. Mm-hmm. That'll be a fantastic show. And then we have another private. Oh yes, we do.
This one here, you have to be elegant.
We have a black tie only private event coming up on March. What is it? The 18th?
18th.
Yeah, May.
May 18th. May 18th. Thank you. May 18th.
That none of you can be a part of. So we apologize for that. Also, that's another private event.
Just rubbing it in your face because
But then WrestleTopia TV returns in production for May 19th. At the National Fairgrounds, Overdrive Pro Wrestling. And I encourage everyone to go check out Overdrive Pro Wrestling, like their Facebook page, and follow them on Twitter. I am not going to tell. There is one match announced that is Mikey McNeil versus James Ellsworth. And I believe Robbie E. has been announced. Terry Runnels has been announced. Who else? Colt Cabana has been announced. Hammerjack will be there. But no one else has been announced, so I don't want to tell anyone who's going to be there until after Overdrive announces it. So I highly suggest that everyone goes ahead and follows them. That way they know up to the date on when they will. Go ahead and make your travel plans now to come to Nashville, May 19th, because this will be one hell of a fucking event. This will be fantastic.
Do not want to miss it.
And then, of course, if you can't, make sure you watch out for Fight TV, because WrestleTopia TV will be producing the iPay-per-view exclusively for Fight, and that will be May 19th. And then that's it. I think that's all that we'll have in the books up till then. Hopefully you motherfuckers will talk to your local promoters and get WrestleTopia there sometime soon. I believe Francisco Chiazzo's documentary.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I am going to be promoting that in a movie theater here in Nashville.
Right.
And then I believe we might put that on Fight TV also.
I'm looking forward to that.
But that is I believe it's 619 Productions. Paul Stewart, my close friend, did a year-long journey with Francisco Chiazzo and made a documentary, and they are currently finishing up the editing and everything like that. And so I know he's real big on wanting to get it out to as many different film festivals as possible. It looks fantastic. The previews and everything that they put out there, the teasers, look fucking incredible, man. You know, and Francisco's the right guy to do a documentary on. You know, because he doesn't hold anything back. He puts everything out there. So go follow Francisco. And if you follow him, he has the clips and the previews on his page. So that's good stuff. Next Wednesday, Steve Hall.
Oh yeah.
The Kodiak Bear, Steve Hall, or the Huggy Bear, whichever you prefer, will be here in this exact room right next to us.
Doing some improv?
Doing some improv.
Right.
Let's take a bet right now. How many times... Remember, we've only got 90 minutes total that we can record for. So, and I'm sure we'll go the whole 90 minutes with Stevie.
With Stevie.
So how many times do you think Stevie will accuse you of just recently getting out of the state penitentiary?
I'd say, I'm just guesstimating, 32.
So we're guesstimating 32 times he will have insinuated that you have just been released from the state penitentiary.
In 90 minutes, yes.
All right. I think that sounds good. I hope everyone at home, make sure you count down, how many times that he accuses Johnny of being a criminal and a former prisoner, because it will be quite often. It will be a lot. So make sure everyone go and follow Johnny Bandana on Facebook. Send him lots and lots and lots of crazy and ridiculous messages because that's funny. And follow WrestletoPia on Facebook, / the number 1 WrestletoPia. Facebook.com / 90s Indie Podcast for the 90s Pro Wrestling Guide to Tape Trading. Which I just said that whole entire thing backwards. It's Tape Trader's Guide to 90s Pro Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at WrestletoPia. You can follow me at Twitter at JD Sloan. I have an Instagram. I have all the Tumblr and all of these, but I don't know. I don't post to everything all the time. So, but I always post to Facebook and I always post to Twitter. So follow me on those things. Tonight especially, if you're listening to this episode, then I have just uploaded a ton of footage from tonight's Southern Underground Pro Wrestling, and I highly suggest that everyone checks it out. So we're going to cut it short. I got nothing else for you. You got anything, Johnny?
No, just that was a great show tonight. Southern Underground, go check it out.
Go check it
out.
For Johnny Bandana, I am JD Sloan, and remember, tape trading in the 90s was motherfucking awesome.
Yes.
Peace.
You look inside your mirror and you tell yourself how attractive you are. How you're hot, how you're amazing looking, how you're so aesthetic, Stevie Fierce. But you're telling yourself lies. You're the only one living in your mirror. This mirror belongs in one of my fun houses because it's nothing more than an illusion. But you see, in my cell phone, in my black mirror, everybody lives there and they constantly tell me how adorable I am, how I have the best hair, how I have the brightest smile. And Stevie, I know right now you probably got a real big frown on your face because these are things you've never heard before. How you lie to yourself, how you're not as attractive as you probably think you are. So on February 25th, I'll change that for you because it's my job to put a smile on everybody's face, even the person I'm in the ring with. So I promise you I'm going to take this finger and I'm going to stick it in your left cheek. And I'm going to take this little finger, bring it all the way around and stick it in your right cheek. And I'm going to peel real far back until you're smiling for the world to see and your pearly whites can be seen from space. But you know, Stevie, I'm not going to stop there because I'm going to take these fingers and these fingers and these fingers and all my fingers and I'm going to put them and I'm going to pull back harder and harder and harder until I peel the flesh off of your face. Because I don't care if there's one person that thinks you're more attractive than me, even if it's you, that's one person too many. So on February 25th at Subcraps, I have one goal, Stevie. One goal, Stevie Fierce. And that's to make you as ugly on the outside as everybody thinks that I am on the inside. I had a real busy fucking weekend. And wait. I'm in Music City, Tennessee, and I always wanted to be a country superstar. I wanted to be Garth Brooks. I wanted to be the Dixie Chicks. Because my dad, that's what he made me listen to as a child. So tonight, for the first time in history, the bad boy Joey Janela is your Hey, suck my dick over there, you little bitch. Yeah, okay. Suck his dick! Suck his dick! Suck his dick! Suck his dick! Everyone, pull out your lighters. We're gonna have a good old country jamboree. Hit the music. Yeah. Baby. First stallion. Got a tiny ass dick. First stallion. He's got a tiny ass dick. First stallion has a tiny ass dick. I like to hunt, I like to fish, but Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. I like to hunt, I like to fish. Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. I saw it in the bathroom, I saw it in the bathroom. His dick's so small. What the fuck? Why is his dick so small? It's like a fucking ant or like a little penis. Yeah. Back to the chorus. I like to hunt, I like to fish, but Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. I like to hunt and I like to fish, but Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. Nice girls like me, nice girls don't like you. They look at me and they say, Joey, you got a big ass hole. But I seen Kurt Stallion last night and it gave me such a little fright. Why? I said, why? He's got a tiny ass dick. I like to hunt, I like to fish, but Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. I like to hunt, I like to fish, but Kurt Stallion's got a tiny ass dick. Thank you very much. For Southern Underground Pro, and I'm in a #1 contenders match for the Bone Storm Championship against Dominic Guarini and Brett Eisen. One who's a legitimate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, and the other one who took out Tank, a Southern wrestling legend. And some people think, why am I in this match? I've never been one for words, I've always been one for action. So on August 6th, you'll see why I'm going to be the #1 contender, and I'm going to avenge my loss from the first show to Kurt, and I'm going to be your next Bone Storm champion.
Hey Dominic, can we get...
Whoa. You stand busy? What? You know what though? I'll set this aside for just a second. What would you like, young man?
Can we get a statement for your upcoming match at Supgraps?
Southern Underground Pro. Southern Underground Pro has the Bone Collector back again. And you know what? It's probably good for them. It's probably great for them, because you know what that means? That means the gates are going to go up. Because they're not about making money matches, they're about bringing the money maker in. And the money maker is the Bone Collector. You see, at the Battle for Bone Storm, I didn't lose technically. I wasn't the man pinned in the triple threat. So that's why I had the opportunity to become the #1 contender. And it's funny, because I could take on two guys that, frankly, probably aren't in my league, but you know what? They're going to give it the old college effort. They're going to go out there and they're going to try to match every bit of fighting ability they have with the Bone Collector. But the problem is, they're not ready for an athlete like myself. They're not ready for a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They're not ready for the money maker. They're not ready for the man that is the money fight. I don't ask for money fights. I am the money fight. And I'm going to bring that money fight to Kevin Koo and to Brett Eisen at Southern Underground Pro on August 6th. You see, fill these penny loafers right here. Because when you're as good as me, you can afford stuff like this. The pennies, back up here. The pennies in these loafers cost as much as Kevin Koo and Brett Eisen make on all the shows they're going to do this year. So you know what? Come August 6th at Southern Underground Pro, Overdrive, or Maximum Overdrive, the Bone Collector is going to become the #1 contender. And Joey Janela or Kurt Stallion, you guys better be ready. Because once again, you get the money fight with the Bone Collector after I win on August 6th.
August 6th at Southern Underground Pro, they present Maximum Overdrive. You have a triple threat to determine the #1 contendership of the Bone Storm Championship. Now this is the first for all 3 men, me and myself, Dominic Guarini, and Kevin Koo. It's also going to be the first time one of them gets knocked the fuck out by the strong style Pitbull. And after I win the match, Kurt or Joey, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out too.